Yo, it's crazy to believe that it has been 20 years since the original Xbox dropped. Xbox celebrated this with a nostalgia-filled presentation that celebrated the history of the Xbox. Now, while it was a great deal of fun to take a walk down memory lane with the good people over at Xbox, there was some major news announced in the form of TimeSplitters 2 and other original plus Xbox 360 games being made backwards compatible. So let's quickly run through it. To me, TimeSplitters was a phenomenal franchise with many people such as myself liking TimeSplitters 2 as the best in the series. Future Perfect was not a bad game, but people have been wanting a brand new TimeSplitters game for some years now, and Xbox has given us the next best thing. Being able to play TimeSplitters 2 and I guess TimeSplitters Future Perfect on the Xbox One and Xbox Series consoles, in my humble opinion, is an awesome thing. It is seriously one of the most fun multiplayer shooters ever made, and I would wager the price of a physical copy is gonna be shooting up straight after this news has been confirmed. I really cannot overstate how much of a fun shooter TimeSplitters is, and it has a very great, fantastic campaign as well as multiplayer modes to choose from. Definitely one of my fonder memories on the original Xbox. I did own this game on the GameCube and definitely also on the PlayStation 2, so it just goes to show how much fun I really had playing TimeSplitters back in the days.
Got a hot hand. Place your bets.
Now, while TimeSplitters 2 and Future Perfect were definitely two highlight games that was mentioned due to the backwards compatibility haul, I definitely do want to look at some of the other major titles that are included with this new update. One of the most notable ones is the horror first-person shooter series F.E.A.R, which is seeing all 3 installments made playable. The original Xbox exclusive Otogi series, 2 action and adventure games are also going to be included. Some of the more standout titles from a fighting perspective was definitely Dead or Alive Ultimate, which was a phenomenal game, and Mortal Kombat 9 to me definitely another great game to add it to the backwards compatibility functionality of the Xbox, simply because to me this was definitely the Mortal Kombat game that really got me loving the series again. Red Dead Revolver, another classic, one of my favorite games back on the original Xbox, definitely a real staple game that I really enjoyed playing back in the days. Skate 2, Star Wars Episode 3 are just a few of the Xbox 360 and original Xbox games that have gotten us very excited. So it's really great news that Xbox have decided to make a lot of these classic games replayable on future gen consoles. I guess you can't always please everyone, and in this instance there isn't no pleasing me, as I personally wanted to look at 5 games that I would have loved to have seen Xbox made backwards compatible with this 20 years announcement. Now, Jet Set Radio Future is an awesome game, and one that I believe I got with my console when I first got it, which came on the same disc as Sega GT 2002. This would have definitely been a great announcement if Xbox did announce that this game would have been backwards compatible. Yeah, we do have the amazing Jet Set Radio as currently backwards compatible, which was the Dreamcast version, and a game that I absolutely love, but I still felt that this specific game was also another gem that would have been great to see included in this lineup. Def Jam Fight for New York is the other game that I would have absolutely loved to have seen made a return on the next gen consoles as a backwards compatible game, simply because this is definitely one of my all-time favorite fighting games, a game that I felt that I spent so many hours playing and I never got bored, and even to this day I do rave about how great this game is. So definitely utilizing all of the Xbox Series X enhancements would have been nice to have seen how they went about doing that. Kung Fu Chaos is definitely one of the most fun party games that I remember playing back on the original Xbox, and one of the games that I feel was a hidden gem on the console. Not many people were too familiar with this specific game, but it would have definitely been great to have seen this game among the mix of available games to play with such a massive library of backwards compatible games. Sims busting out, I know this probably is a little bit dated at this specific point and possibly wouldn't maybe be as appreciated as it was back in 2001 as it would be maybe in 2021, but this is still one of my personal favorite sim games, and this is definitely a game that I still own on disc. So for me personally, rather than having to rig up my original Xbox, it would have been nice to have been able to have played this game on my Xbox Series X and just see how this game would have performed in 2021. Finally, NBA Streets Volume 2. So I guess if you do follow this channel, you know absolutely how much I love this game. So there is no surprise that I would have loved to have seen one of my all-time favorite basketball games be backwards compatible. There are loads more games that I would have definitely loved to have seen on this list, but for now, let's just go over what's currently available. Okay, so hearing that TimeSplitters 2, Mortal Kombat 9 and more are now playable on your Xbox One or Xbox Series console is definitely great news. But now that the excitement has died down a little bit, you may be wondering, how do I play these games? Well, if you do have a physical disc and a console that does accept discs, such as the Xbox Ones or the Xbox Series X, which has a disc drive, you just simply pop the game into your console, install the game, and then you are good to go. If you have a digital copy of the game already, you can just download it to your console. And that said, there are many of these games that are going to be made available for purchase, so be sure to check the store if you are interested in any of these. As I said, I predict that the prices of some of these games are going to get kind of crazy, so potentially do try and grab some of them while you can now, especially TimeSplitters 2. Just making these games playable would have been enough, but Xbox has gone a step beyond this. All Xbox 360 titles will offer support for HDR for people with TV that supports it. Original Xbox games are also getting quite the boost too. If you have an Xbox Series X or an Xbox One X, you will be getting the resolution increased 4 times over what it normally is. And if you are using an Xbox Series S, it is 3 times, and then it is 2 times on the Xbox One and on an Xbox One S. Certain games will also get a frame rate boost to F.E.A.R, near, and not forgetting binary domain being specifically mentioned. It was also mentioned that some games which are already backwards compatible, the Gears of War and the Dead Space series being specifically mentioned as well. All in all, to me, it's definitely a great look seeing a barrage of great games hitting the backwards compatibility library. I know sometimes, especially nowadays, some people don't really revisit some of the older school games, but for me, who definitely do like to walk down a nostalgic street from time to time, definitely going to be quite a few games in there that I would love to revisit. Certainly going to be playing TimeSplitters 2 again. Definitely want to see what that game looks like on the Xbox Series X and just to see how it performs in 2021. Definitely something that I will be aiming to update on the channel just to let you guys see some of the gameplay footage of that specific game, and maybe Mortal Kombat 9, who knows. But all in all, I'm definitely a happy bunny over on this side of the fence. Anyway, peeps, that was just a very quick update just to let you guys know that Xbox are definitely putting a barrage of games on the backwards compatibility shelf. So let me know of the 70+ games that has been added as to whether any of the games in that list are games that you are looking forward to relive. As always, if you did enjoy this urban gameplay video, be sure to smash the like button. Do hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to the channel before. And until next video, we definitely say peace out, peeps.
You love me. I love you. You love me. I love you. Do you love me too?
Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for more cool urban gameplay videos.